Hey everyone, my name is TricksterShadow, and today I have some pretty good news for you. So if you don't know, if you don't keep track, VHS has had a bit of a dry spell to where we've had a few weeks, almost 3 weeks, to where we haven't received any communication or update from the devs. Now, it's kind of understandable this happening because they did have a bit of a chaotic past few weeks with the Discord being hacked and everything, but the Discord is safe now. Don't have to worry about that. So if you're in there, it's not compromised anymore, thankfully. But they got it back under control, and it seems like they are going full steam ahead. Because today, after having a few weeks of no communication because of all the hectic stuff, they released an update and they released some patch notes and some other pretty interesting stuff. And so I'm just going to go over that with you today. I'm not going to have any gameplay in the background. I do apologize. I know that's something that people wanted when I did my previous discussion videos, mainly because I'm going to be going down a list of changes and I want to try to explain them and have the text on the screen so you guys can read it as well. So for my ADHD viewers out there, I really do apologize. But I'm going to go through this. I'm going to read it for you guys, and then I'm going to say my opinion on them, and from what I've played, because I did play a bit of the patch today, what I think the changes, like how they actually feel in the match. All right, so let's go. Let's see how much I mess up. So the final stretches of the beta, patch 0.1.68303. That's a mouthful. Hello, you absolute badasses. Sam Gee here. I'm popping in to provide an update on where we are sitting, what we've heard, and where we plan to go from here. Here's some info straight from Wart's desk. Here, let me make it a little bit bigger. It's a cute little picture of Wart. I love the little screenshots that they make because stuff like this is really good for memes and really good for thumbnails as well. All right, most common feedback and issues. I've been scouring every platform that is available to us where you, the players, provide your top issues and feedback. From Twitter to Discord, all the way to bi-weekly syncs with our Steam and Discord moderators. We've been carefully and diligently documenting updates that the community would like to see. From that list, the top 4 talked about issues in no particular order are as follows: new player experience, balance, queue times, and accessibility. So these are the top 4 biggest issues they think that are pressing to the player base. These are the 4 things that they want to try to address as much as they can in both this update and continuing updates. So they go on to explain a little bit more. The new player experience. The new player experience can be daunting to say the least, especially when you're coming from other asymmetrical games, mainly DBD, of course. We are no stranger to the fact that our tutorial needs a little bit of tender love and care, and that certain aspects of the mechanics being included would help with a steep learning curve. A tutorial on how to ping, disarm dolls, etc. have all been brought forward as ways that could help improve this. Yeah, the tutorial really does need to revamp, because the tutorial, while it does teach you some basic things, I do think that it could teach a little bit more. Obviously, like they're saying, pings would be very, very helpful. I also think a big part of the tutorial for the monster side should be teaching how to evade weapon damage. So just something as simple as just have a bot teen pull up a cross, start damaging you, and then have a little tiny cover in between you and the teen, just to show people hey, you can evade dying by going behind this cover. Because if you plant that seed in people's heads that, hey, I won't die if I don't take full damage, I think it'll be a lot less daunting to try to face weapons when people know that fact. Because I've noticed from watching new player gameplay, they don't know that they can evade weapon damage like that. And as soon as they figure it out, the game becomes a lot more manageable. So if they could do that in a tutorial, I think that'd be really helpful. All right. To set oh my god, TricksterShadow. To set expectations due to time and resources, we're a very small team, of course. A tutorial revamp would not come until after early access. To circumvent some of the frustrations that come with learning Video Horror Society, where we are working on some comprehensive gameplay guides. So they're making some gameplay guides themselves as devs, and should hopefully have those available in the near future. In the meantime, check out these guides from some of Video Horror Society's content creators. Oh my god, TricksterShadow! Oh my god, Jay! Oh my god, TricksterShadow again! Oh my god, Jay! That's cool. I'm very happy, of course, bias, that they're including some of my videos. I'm actually, I've been working on another guide. I kind of want to make a guide. I've written the script and I've recorded a little bit for it, but I think I may reduce the scope of it a little bit. I'm trying to make a guide basically explaining all of these menuing, because I want to go through and explain like what is like the tutorial and training, what are prize boxes, what do prize boxes do, what are the different types of prizes. Oh, well, you can equip prizes over here. What are the movies like? How do the movie system works? Oh, how does like the stats work? I just want to go through and explain all that because I don't think many people have explained that, and I just want to have a comprehensive guide that I can just, when people say like, oh, like, what do I need to know about VHS, I can just slap them a video, because like this video is okay that I have right here, but I feel like there could be a little bit more, which I'm still working on. I'm hoping to get that done before early access happens, which it sounds like I need to kind of pick up this pace with it, because it sounds like early access should be pretty soon. Final stretch of the beta. All right, and then balance. The biggest topic last week was Doll Master. A lot of talk about Doll Master and frustration that teens feel when going against them. Made some balance updates in our latest patch that will include some adjustments to Doll Master gameplay we feel will contribute positively to the teen experience. Balance is important in all types of multiplayer games, and ASIMs come with their own set of challenges. It's very hard to balance ASIM games because ASIM games are just inherently unbalanced, because you got to have the one side be as powerful as the four side. We are constantly looking at ways that we can make the experience more balanced for players. It's good. Queue times have been really bad the past few weeks. There's been many cases where people are waiting 10, 15, 20 minutes for a queue, and then they get into a lobby, and then somebody backs out, breaks the lobby, and it's just all a mess, which is very frustrating, especially for content creation. Streaming and only playing a couple matches every couple hours doesn't feel that good. All right, so queue times. This is easily one of the most frustrating and most talked about issues for our community. After plenty of internal discussions on how to proceed, we made some substantial changes to MMR and have upgraded the underlying matchmaking technology, which should improve queue time significantly. This is something that we are constantly monitoring and updating, so absolutely let us know if you have any feedback. So I tested this today. When they initially dropped this patch, I got a teen match within 10 seconds, and I got my monster matches pretty instantly as well. They started to release more keys, which we'll talk about in this update, but they started to release more keys, and then the teen queues started progressively getting worse. But like the most I waited was like 7-8 minutes. And I don't think that was because like the matchmaking or anything was bugged. It's just there's so many. Usually when new people come to the game, they play the teen side, and that's how ASIM games are. Usually people don't want to play the side where it's just them because they feel it's a little bit too daunting. So it really does seem, in my opinion, it really does seem like they fixed a lot of the matchmaking issues. I have noticed that there is still a problem with backfilling. It'll backfill like once or twice, but if two people leave like in a row, I've noticed that it doesn't fix itself. So if you find yourself in a lobby and you've had two people leave out of the lobby and nobody is filling within like a minute or two, I would just leave and join a new lobby. But it seems like it is a lot better. It actually does feel like the wait time is significantly less. So it's good that they did that. Talk about accessibility. Diversity and inclusion are at the top of our minds when discussing feedback with the team, and accessibility feedback is incredibly important to us. Reports have come in about crafting/healing toggle. So basically, if you say you put on a toggle, you press M1, and then you can like let go of it, and you keep on crafting. Obviously, you have to do skill checks, but you don't have to hold down the button. That'd be a very good change. Brightness calibration. Some maps are maybe a little bit too dark, making it to where it's not as hard on your eyes. Very good. Using shapes for pings in addition to colors for people that are colorblind would be very good. Creating more accessible features and gameplay is something we've actively been discussing and plan to look more into as we launch early access. Keep those suggestions, feedback coming. I did see one suggestion. I think I saw it on the main Discord. I forget who said it. Missing it. But I did see a suggestion that somebody made a mock-up to where it was like a monster POV, and they said it would be cool if you were like getting damaged by like say a ray gun, it would show like a little indicator showing that you're getting damaged by a shock stigma, so a little blue, and it shows that it's coming from like behind you, and like just to help people a little bit more, which I think would be cool. And I really hope that they continue making accessibility changes, because that is something that has been very like pressing, that people like really want to see that improve, especially hard of hearing people, since this game is so audio dependent. So I'm very curious to see what they do in that regard. But I'm happy that they're open and they're talking about that there is things that they need, that I can't talk, that they need to be improved upon, because really that's all you can ask for out of devs, especially from devs, small team, is for them to admit their shortcomings and say how they plan to address it, and really just have them work on it. So I'm glad that they're talking about this. Glad that they're being so open. And then finally, we have the final stretch of the beta. As we approach the early access launch, we have one very important feature to test: fan bucks, which, if you don't know, is the premium currency that you pay actual money for. After our newest patch deploys, we will be loading every player's account with premium currency to test purchases in game, as well as handing out a buttload of keys for those who are waiting to gain access to the beta. Buy all the things, report all the bugs. Keep in mind that any fan bucks and items purchased with fan bucks will be wiped along with the rest of the players' accounts in early access launches. So anything you do in the closed beta does not matter, because it will be reset to 0. Every single thing, except your experience and except your brain, because I don't think they have the technology yet for that. But yeah, so quick Q&A. Who gets fan bucks? Everybody, current and future beta testers. How long do I have to claim this? Until the beta ends. What happens when the beta ends? All accounts will be reset. Nobody will keep the fan bucks, and players will not keep the items that they buy with the fan bucks. Can you have some more? Nope. That's the allowance that you're getting. And final notes. If you'd like to read about the patch notes, which we definitely will, look here. And to finish off, here's a little sneak peek at the Founders Pack, which, if you don't know what the Founders Pack is, go here. It says Founders Pack coming soon, which is pretty interesting. Which is pretty interesting. Basically, Founders Pack is like a limited time thing that if you buy, you get something. We don't know exactly what we're getting, but if we look here, we see 3 tiers of Founders Pack. We got Superfan T25, Megafan T60, and then Ultrafan T100. So we got 3 different tiers of Founder Pack, which is very interesting. I'm wondering what they'll have in them. Happy Thursday and have a great week. See you all in the beyond. Also, by the way, this tweet leads somewhere. If you don't know what this tweet is, we'll talk about this before we go in the patch. It's a little bit of a side quest. But calling all Video Horror Society content creators, one's for you. And it has this little video, and if you pay attention, this VHS player is blinking. It's blinking Morse code. You may be wondering, where's the Morse code leading to? Well, the Morse code, if you'd like a spoiler, it says "Be Kind, Rewind," and people have figured out that leads to this website, vhsgame.com/bekindrewind. And pretty much, I'm gonna give you the rundown, because I know people want to hear the patch notes. This is their content creator program. So if you're from DBD, similar to the Fog Whisperer program, they go into it's all about positivity, acceptance, and engagement. You got to stream 14 hours of the game. You got to be positive. You got to accept their code of conduct and just be not a terrible person. Your perks, you get in-game flux every month, so they give you the flux currency, the blue stuff, so that you can buy more cosmetics. You get access to an exclusive Rewinder Discord. You get channel assets to use on your stream. You can play test with the devs before new content releases. You get special cosmetics. You get a newsletter, so on and so forth, as I'm assuming other benefits as well. And they're saying that really anybody can join. They don't really care about your size. They don't care about what you're doing. They're just hoping to find really community leaders, people that are making content, trying to progress the community. They're trying to get those people into Rewinder program. So if this is something that you're interested in, be sure to keep an eye on this website. Be sure to keep an eye on their social media, because this may be something for you. And yeah, this is very cool. I'm very happy that they're doing this, and I'm very happy that they're wanting to be as engaged with the community as they are. All right, so let's go over to the patch notes, because I know that is what a lot of people are very interested in. Currently, there's some known issues. The tutorial you'll get stuck in, but you can leave without penalty. You don't got to worry about it. They said that's a known issue. 5-teen lobby, 2-monster lobby. It's currently a bug. They're looking into it. And the voice chat participant list is showing incorrectly on the loading screen, something they're looking into. But going into the changes. So the changes, Werewolf. We made a video recently about Werewolf and how Werewolf is a little bit weak. And the devs apparently have listened. So they say the Werewolf Berserk mutation Vicious now grants 9.5 seconds of Berserk after knocking a teen, up from 6 seconds. So that's the mutation to where if you knock somebody down while you have an active Berserk, it'll refresh your Berserk previously by 6 seconds. Now it'll be 9.5, which is pretty good. That's pretty substantial. And we've got the Werewolf Berserk power now increases the Werewolf's vault speed in addition to other effects, which is pretty crazy. So if you use your Berserk, which is your speed up ability, you can now vault a little bit faster as well to catch up even faster in those chases. They also reduce the hitbox of the Werewolf's tail slightly, so that weapons hitting the tip of the tail will not deal damage. So when you're going around corners, sometimes you would die even after you got around the corner because your tail would be poking out. That's good that they adjusted that. They increase the movement speed of the werewolf while focusing the howl and berserk by 50%. So that's good, because part of the issue with the howl previously is that when you would howl, you would lose so much ground during the animation that it would kind of nullify the effect of the howl, and you would need the berserk. There was like no possible way. Now, you still kind of need the berserk, in my opinion. You still will probably need the berserk just so you can catch up a lot easier. But them doing this makes werewolf feel a lot better to play, in my opinion, from the matches that I've played. They've also, speaking of berserk, they increased the duration of the berserk power to 12 seconds from 11. May not seem like a lot, but that extra second makes you get a lot of distance and helps a lot with combining the howl and the berserk. The loudness of the berserk focusing and activation sounds is reduced slightly while playing werewolf. That's good because werewolf is a very loud monster. And the loudness of the monster's breathing is reduced slightly while playing werewolf. So that's good. Again, werewolf is a very loud monster. All in all, I think these changes are very good. I played a few matches of werewolf, especially against good teams. The werewolf is obviously still glass cannon. It can very easily go wrong since you don't have like an armor up ability like Wart or the dolls like Dollmaster. But I think these changes make werewolf a lot more in line with the other monsters. Obviously, in my opinion, may change. It may evolve. I may want some other things as I play more and more of werewolf. But I think this is a good step in the right direction. I think these are good changes. Very smart changes by the devs. Now for Wart, they nerfed the lethal, or not lethal, they nerfed the throttle mutation. Instead of you going 30% faster while you're leaping with throttle, you now go 24% faster. Throttle is pretty much like the main mutation that people use, so them nerfing a little bit makes sense just because it's how much of a powerhouse it is. And then for Dollmaster is a very contentious topic last week. Dollmaster can no longer use the remove trap power on a doll when it is detecting the presence of a teen. So previously, what would happen is Dollmaster would hit a teen and then immediately get out of the doll, unpossess it, and before the teen could stop being disrupted after the hit, the Dollmaster would get rid of the doll and make it to where there's no counterplay, there's no disarming of the doll, there's no maybe coming back and killing the doll with a weapon, none of that. It made it where Dollmaster really didn't get down to the low amount of dolls very often. Now, and it felt very cheesy to go against, in all honesty. Now, if the doll has the little yellow indicator and sees the teen, it cannot be disarmed, no matter what. Or not disarmed, but it can't be recalled. It can be disarmed by the teens, but it can't be recalled by the Dollmaster. And that is a pretty substantial nerf to Dollmaster. You still have the ability if the doll's asleep, if it has the white icon, you can still recall the dolls, but if that doll sees anybody, you can't do that. I think this is a good change, in all honesty. I kind of wanted it to be tied to the possession cooldown, but I think this change on the surface of the little bit that I have played is good, mainly for like the psychology of it, because when I set down my dolls, now I feel like my doll placement is even more impactful of a decision, and I got to be a little bit smarter with where I'm setting my dolls. And previously, I would just set my dolls down anywhere, and it didn't really feel like a big deal. Just willy-nilly setting down my dolls. If I need to like change it, I'll change it later. I'll just get the entire map reset by recalling all the dolls immediately. Now it feels a little bit more impactful. So I think this is a good change for making Dollmaster less cheesy, but we'll see if it's the change that is needed with more games played. While using the doll mutation to Haunted, the remove trap power can only be used while the Dollmaster is banished. So if you don't know what Haunted is, we'll quickly go to Haunted, mutations, Haunted. Doll trap will no longer self-destruct when in the alarm state when they get run over. Teens will be exposed while disarming a doll trap, and for 3 seconds after the doll trap is alarmed or disarmed. The cooldown of doll possession is reduced by 25%. And the doll trap will no longer change color when its teens are nearby. So you don't get notifications of like when the teens are near your dolls. And so the reason why they're making it to where you can't disarm the dolls, otherwise you'd be able to do the same cheese that they're pretty much trying to nullify. Should make this a little bit bigger. All right, there we go. The distance at which the dolls can be alarmed while using the doll trap offspring is now reduced by 90% from 80. So offspring is the one that gives you an additional doll. While a Dollmaster is using offspring, dormant dolls will appear more slumped over to distinguish their difference from normal traps. Quality of life, being able to identify what mutations the monster has just by visual, it's very good. Dollmaster's Summon mutation Rebound now has a set cooldown of 2 seconds rather than just being refreshed immediately. So Rebound was when you take control of a doll, you'd be able to immediately jump. Now instead of being able to immediately jump, you have to wait 2 seconds before you can jump, which is still pretty fast considering I think the base is like 8 seconds before you have to jump, or before you can jump. And so it's still really good, but they put a little bit of a cap on it to make it a little bit less suppressive. Significantly increase the distance at which teens can hear the warning sound prior to a doll trap being possessed or teleported to. So the dolls, they get a little like marionette strings, and it makes a sound whenever the doll master is manipulating the doll. And so now you can hear that from further away. It's good. When a teen pings a doll trap, its aura will be revealed to all active teens for a duration of the ping. So you can see the doll trapped through walls, assuming that somebody is pinging it. That's useful if you're like down on the ground after you got downed by the doll master's doll. Then you can ping to your team, here's the exact location of where the doll is, so they can more accurately disarm it. It's very good quality of life. And the hitbox, the hitbox of the dolls has been made 15% wider, so they're easier to hit with some weapons. So like the ray gun, sword, stuff like that, making it to where the dolls are a little bit more counterable with some weapons that previously weren't as easy to use against dolls. So all in all, I think that these changes make Dollmaster definitely a lot less cheesy. I think this will make Dollmaster a little bit harder to win with. I think that these changes, my opinion, could change. I think these changes make Dollmaster probably the second most powerful monster in the game. I think it goes Wart, Dollmaster, and then Werewolf. But I think Dollmaster is still really good. I think Werewolf is still really good. But these changes will make going against good teams pretty rough, and you will have to be really, really tactful, and you really have to think about what you're doing with Dollmaster, since the dolls are a lot. They're easier to hit, and you can't as easily reset them. And so I think these are good changes all in all. We'll see what the community thinks. I wasn't really somebody that was like super upset about Dollmaster. I know some people were really upset about Dollmaster. So we'll see what they think. But I think this is a good step in the right direction. All right, we got some changes to teens. When a teen does a normal or quiet vault and falls 4 meters or less, they will now land much more quietly than when doing fast vaults. Nice. While the teen is controlling a spectral, increases the range at which the Luma can be heard by 2.5 meters. Luma is the stuff that you collect in order to recover on the ground. It's good quality of life. RC Flyer movement speed is now reduced by 85% when it's firing, up from 65%, making it where the RC Flyer is a little bit less of a powerhouse because the RC Flyer is very nimble when it's in the air, and so that makes it easier to hit it, because previously it'd be able to start hitting somebody and then it would just fly back, and there's just no chance that you could ever smack it as monster. So them doing this is good. I think it's a good change. The Shock Sphere got a pretty big nerf. Shock Sphere total weapon charge has been reduced to 20 seconds from 22, which is very impactful, because you got to remember that the Shock Sphere starts losing charges the second that you start holding M1. The second it starts making noise, you start losing charges out of it, and it ramps up to use even more charges the longer that you're using it. So it losing even a second, now it lost 2 seconds of charge, is really, really impactful, because it's not even lethal while it's charging up to come and attack you. Also, the weapon charge consumed while powering up the Shock Sphere is now 50% less than when the Shock Sphere is active, down from 70%, 75%. Okay. So this is so like when they're charging it up when it's not lethal, it's using a little bit less energy to compensate for the drop in duration. Does that make sense? The time it takes for the fuse box to become available again after being energized by Shock Sphere is increased by 30%. So people are making multiple Shock Spheres. It's a little bit more awkward to make multiple Shock Spheres and charge them up. Makes sense. Holy Staff. They increase the healing speed of the Holy Staff when healing yourself by 15%. That's good. I like that. Bonus healing speed granted by the Holy Staff mod Revelations was reduced by to 20% from 25. Might as well look at that. We're in the menus. Let's see. What does the Revelations do? When healing using the Sacred Staff, the healing speed is increased by 20%. When healing using the Sacred Staff, your aura is revealed to the monster. So what do they do to that? They reduced it to 20% from 25. Okay, a little bit of a balance change. Solar Flare. Solar Flare is a very, very strong weapon, and I was kind of advocating for some change to Solar Flare because of how strong it is. It's honestly, I think it's the best weapon in the game, just because of how much pressure it robs from the monster. The ramp rate of the energy drain while the monster is in sight of the solar flare sentry has been increased by 25% and returns to the slowest rate when the monster is out of sight, 40% slower. So basically what this means, if you are within line of sight of the solar flare, it'll start passively losing charges if you're the monster. And it'll actually ramp up how many charges it loses every second the longer you're within line of sight. You can tell that it's losing charges. It's an audio cue because you'll start hearing this like humming, and the humming will get higher and higher pitch the longer you're near or within line of sight of the solar flare. And so if you hear it like really high pitch, you're draining charges out of it really fast. So they're making it to where it's a little bit more punishing just to keep it up, and the monster just to be looking at it. You have to summon and unsummon it in order to not deal with that as much. So I think good change because solar flare is such a powerhouse of a weapon. Monster. So they did a change to the super rift, which some people were asking for. When the monster captures the super rift, all active teens will also be briefly staggered and lose up to 22% of their base life in addition to the existing super rift effects. This new effect will not kill a teen and will not put them into the injured state. So this takes away 22% of their health bar. If you're wondering how much is 22%, with the scope of the game, is basically one hit from a monster. One basic attack from a monster without lethal weapon is 22%. If you're curious about lethal weapon I think is like 24, a little bit more than 24. I think it's like 24.2 or something like that. But yeah, a basic attack with no modifiers is 22% knocked off when you get hit by a monster. So this is essentially as if you got hit by a monster once, but it doesn't damage you. It doesn't put you in an injured state at all. This is pretty substantial because usually when the super rift is acquired is towards the end of the game, and so this would most likely put everybody or most people into critical state, and the monster being enraged with everybody at critical state and being able to see everybody's aura, that could quickly devolve into some pretty bad times for the teens. Now, I still don't think this is as powerful as the teen super rift, where they just do a stigma damage to the monster, but I think this is a little bit more in line, and I think it's a good change. I'm very curious to test this out. I haven't got a single super rift as monster. It just doesn't happen because every time I hit somebody, it resets the timer. Really, you just got to like not do anything for 5 minutes as monster in order for a super rift to spawn. But seems like a good change. I like it. The monster's reticle assist will no longer be active while the monster is performing attack. All right. Increase the maximum credit a monster can earn in a match for the movie challenge Feast on a Teen to 10 seconds from 5. It's good because it's a bit of a grindy challenge. Basically, it would be a max of 5, and then you'd have to do it for like 45 seconds. So you can only get 5 seconds for your challenge, and you need to get maximum 45 across multiple games. And now that it's 10 seconds, it's a little bit less cumbersome because it'd usually be the last one that you're on, and you'd have to spend multiple games trying to get it. Also, increase the maximum distance at which teen weapon outlines will continue to appear for the monster by 15%. So let's say like you're at one side of a map and you can see across the map at another teen. If you are really far away from them, the weapon outline will not be shown. Now they're increasing the distance at which you can see the weapon outline by 15% from the previous max distance. So you can see like a little bit further, a little bit more across the map, you can see that they have a weapon. General gameplay. Increase the number of stickers that can be placed in the match at once to 20 from 10. Good to see. Increase the duration that the stickers remain on the map to 120 seconds from 60. Nice. Stickers got a buff. That's good to see. Reduce the loudness of the Hellbent intro movie when the game launches. Okay. Reduce the conversion rate of XP to Flux and max level characters to be more in line with the intended acquisition rate. All right, so when you reach level 95, instead of getting XP, instead you get Flux, which is the free grindable currency. So they adjusted that a little bit. Reduce the Flux rewards and prize boxes gained from completing the Forgotten Films to be more aligned with the intended acquisition rate. So Forgotten Films, if you finish all of the movie challenges on a character, you then get just an infinite challenge grind that you can just get more points with. So they adjusted that a little bit. Progress towards earning a free prize box at the end of the match is no longer affected by the point bonus granted by prizes. So instead of you being able to run point prizes in order to get more prize boxes quicker, it now only goes off of the points that you earn in a match instead of the point bonuses. All right. The points earned by a monster for most actions during a match have been adjusted downwards by 15%. I think the reason why they did this is because most times in matches, monsters will cap out the match pretty quickly. And so they're just trying to like figure out what the sweet spot is for getting points in a match. Weapon XP that is required to unlock the second weapon of each stigma has been reduced by 50%, so you unlock the second stage weapons a little bit faster, so you have more variety in your builds when you're newer to the game. They're now separate mouse and controller sensitivity settings for when you play as monster and teen. It's very good to see more controller compatibility. And then they did a bunch of bug fixes. I guess we can go over this. Why not? We're already 30 minutes into the video. What's another 5 minutes, right? Fix an issue where if the doll master used a doll trap while banished and then immediately vaulted, he would enter a state where he's unable to use a power attack. It's good that they fixed that. Fix an issue where the doll master could sometimes place dolls in midair while banished. Fix an issue... I'm assuming these are tied. Fix an issue where the RC flyer could be hit after it's dismissed and a trigger for a monster scream without being destroyed. So basically, like somebody would summon RC flyer, would get close to the monster, they'd unsummon it, and the monster would swing, and they would still hit it without actually hitting it, and they would do a disruption, which is very annoying. Glad they fixed that. Fix an issue where a teen would sometimes play a celebration animation after, or sometimes not play celebration animation after successfully striking the monster with a weapon. Fix an issue where a teen could be nudged by other teens when using the holy staff. That sounds funny. Fix an issue where the noisemaker would sometimes fail to deploy while staying on an incline. It's actually an issue that I had, and I reported to the devs. I'm glad that they fixed that. Fix an issue where the animation when the dolls performed in a ranged attack was not representative of the actual range on the teen side. Fix an issue where the teen using curse sword could get stuck in the swinging animation if they fell off a ledge. Fix the movie challenge where hit a teen within 10 seconds of a failed crafting skill check, then I count 18 rather than the one that failed the skill check. It's good, quality of life. Fixed an issue where the invert vertical settings of the mouse keyboard, the option menu would affect controllers as well. The control version is now separate. Fixed an issue where the sprint mode and crouch mode setting in the mouse keyboard, the option menu was affecting the controller. There's now a separate one. Fixed an issue where the doll's head could sometimes appear in the main menu screen. So there's an issue where if you played Doll Master and then switch to teen, the little doll would appear behind the monster, behind the teen. It's kind of funny. Fixed an issue, but they fixed that. Fixed an issue where the weapon crafting tools would not appear for zombie teens. Fixed an issue where the reticle would not hide at the end of the match. Fixed an issue where the teen raised from the dead would not appear as a zombie in the training mode. Fixed an issue where nearby zombie debris or holy slingshot smoke would sometimes not be removed by the monster's screams. Good to see that they're doing bug fixes. And then finally, fan bucks testing. Like I said in the blog post that we read, they're going to be giving 6,666 fan bucks for people to use. This is being reset. You're not going to be able to keep this. You're not going to be able to keep the cosmetics that you buy with it, but they're just testing to make sure that people can buy stuff in the store before the early access comes out. And this is really huge because this means that early access is very, very close if they're testing this. So I think it's pretty good. I think that, in my opinion, I think early access is the closest that it's ever been. I know, copium, hopefully it is. I think that these are some pretty good changes that they've done, and I'm very excited to see the direction of VHS. I really want us to get into early access. I really want to see more people enjoy the game, and if you haven't already, be sure to go on their store page and request access because they're letting a lot of people. There was like 1,000 something people playing today, which is a lot for VHS closed beta. And of course, if you haven't already, you might as well check out the store and buy some stuff in the store. I bought this today because this is a premium thing. Bought it for my Doll Master, which you may have seen at the beginning of the video, with this little disguise. And I also bought this right here, which I think is very funny. The different little rage thing. So if you're wanting to try to buy some certain things, test out how it is in match. If you manage to find any bugs, be sure to report them. And yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think. Oh, also, they this is one thing that they didn't say. They added a redeem product code thing in here. So I guess if they give away Flux or fan bucks, I guess you could do it there. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the changes. Curious to hear when you guys think that early access is gonna be. I'm very happy with the changes that they did to Werewolf. The Doll Master changes seem pretty reasonable. The changes to the weapons seem pretty reasonable as well. And I'm hoping that early access is soon. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I think that I have some gameplay videos that are obviously on the way. I also have some videos that people have sent me some gameplay of them trying out matches, and they wanted me to just basically review their gameplay and say what they could have done better. If you would like to send me some gameplay, if got at the end of this video, you kind of deserve a one-on-one me telling you like how you can play better for free. If you would like me to review your gameplay and you want me to use it in a video, because that's really the only way that I can do it is if I make it into a video, I'll obviously blur your name and everything. Be sure to send me an email. You can send me an email at TricksterShadow@gmail.com. It's exactly as my username on this channel, just at gmail.com. Just say the monster gameplay and I'll review it and I'll make a video and say what you can do better. So if you're interested in that, be sure to do that. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for listening to me rant and ramble, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.